And hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the Minecraft Championship Parkour. I remember that I have done this map in the past once for a video attempt with MantaRay, but they ended up not posting it, kind of went a bit off the rails. So I figured I'm running out of maps to play, might as well return to this and give it a shot. I figure it'd be fun. Okay, I wanna do that. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Let's just forget that all of this just happened and restart. Yeah. Okay, guys. You don't remember anything. This is where the video started. Okay. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen anything MCC related. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know even if is that MCC still going, right? Yeah. MCC still going, I believe. But I don't think they're still doing this specific parkour, even if they are still going. I don't know. As I said, I haven't really seen anything super related to it in a while. Like, it's actually really interesting to me. I don't think a lot of older like Minecraft viewers still watch current Minecraft still watch current Minecraft channels all that much. Like from the people I've talked to that were around during the days when Captain Sparkles was one of the top YouTubers and um back when Dan TDM was all the rage and stuff like that. And, Hermitcraft was just starting out, all that stuff. I find that a lot of people from that watched during those days don't still really watch Minecraft content nowadays and don't really enjoy it as much, which I think makes a lot of it sense. Like current Minecraft content, I feel like with a lot of the larger channels is very much so geared towards a very different audience than older Minecraft content. Like stuff like Hermitcraft still very well follows along the same lines, and that's why, a lot of them will still watch Hermitcraft and stuff like that. But a lot of people that enjoyed older Minecraft content, I find at least, in the people I know, don't really watch the Dreams or the George Not Bound, anybody like that, and are much more likely to, not really like the newer Minecraft community quite so much. And there's also been some problems in the community from what I know with, a couple of the creators that had popped up to prominence within the last couple years doing stuff that's very sketch, or in some cases possibly even illegal, and just all that stuff. Where it's kind of like, it's very fair that they don't really enjoy the current Minecraft community quite as much. And then you get the stuff like with the Dream cheating scandal and all that. And I feel like that's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in this situation, was kind of the Dream cheating stuff. Because Dream was kind of a figure that people that both were older to the community and newer really enjoyed, because his videos were, made in a way where it was very easy to enjoy regardless, because it kind of harkened back to, older content while at the same time packaging it in a way that newer viewers really enjoyed. And I think that really worked well in getting both groups to, watch his content. And then when the cheating stuff went down, I think a lot of the newer viewers were more than willing to stick with Dream because they, they didn't have the same sort of long-term respect around the game that a lot of older players and viewers and stuff did, where, if you've been a part of a community like that for a long time, you're likely to, have a bit more respect for it and want people to follow the rules more closely and all that stuff. So, to those sort of people, Dream cheating is much more of a big deal than for somebody that watches the game mostly because they bumped into Dream and aren't watching Dream so much because of the game. And I might be wrong on some of this stuff, but it's just some observations I've made. And I don't know, seeing the MCC map just made me think of that stuff. Just because, also in part because MCC has a lot of older and newer creators that have participated in it. And it just kind of made me think about the community as a whole. And it's really interesting to me how different many of the older creators are to the newer creators. I think what I mean by that is a lot of the older creators were able to get where they were at more based off of traits like patience and stuff like that, being able to work on a world for a really long time and learn complicated redstone stuff and stuff like that. I feel like was much more valuable to getting popular back in the day, whereas more recently it's much more based around energy and how much hype you can build, stuff like that. And it's interesting for me because, I'm definitely closer in the older group where I don't know, I prefer kind of the content that's based around impressive builds and stuff like that, rather than stuff that kind of goes by in the blink of 30 seconds, like, PvP skills and stuff like that. And it's interesting, because on a more personal level, I prefer to learn the PvP skills than the building stuff. But when it comes to watching content, I prefer to see impressive builds and redstone designs and stuff like that, which I feel like in part comes from the fact that it's something that I know I'm not really all that capable of doing, and I find it much more impressive. Like, for some reason, seeing a PvPer that's leaps and bounds above me doesn't impress me in the same way that seeing someone that has redstone knowledge leaps and bounds above me does. Even though in both cases I'm pretty bad and there's people way better than me at both out there. So I don't know. It's really interesting to me. And the other genre of Minecraft, I guess, that I grew up watching was kind of parkour. But because I make so much parkour content, I don't really find myself ever watching any, even to relive the old days, just because I do so much of it myself that I don't think I could take watching it too. Which, I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing in the sense that if I watched it, it might be harder for me to keep the same level of consistency and enjoyment out of it. But at the same time, maybe, it would be better if I also watched some that sort of content, just for the sake of knowing what people enjoy and stuff like that. I don't know. Just in general, though, it's hard to keep a passion for anything for a long time. And that's something that I've learned heavily doing YouTube, and that you have to make a conscious effort to keep a passion going for something. You can't just rely on, interest in the subject to keep a passion afoot. Like, you have to actively go out there and try and make sure that you're taking steps to keep your passion going. Like in the case of YouTube, for example. I do it every day, and I very much so enjoy doing it every day, and I very much so have a passion for it. But that's not enough to continue posting every day with just that. To continue posting every day, I have to, some days wake up and have absolutely no interest in recording a video, and still make sure I record a video at some point throughout that day. Even if I have no interest in doing it that day and want to take a break, I still get up and do it, right? Oh. And I think that that's important for any passion to stay underfoot, is to, even when you're not totally interested in doing it, still sitting down and being willing to do it. Especially if there's other people involved. Like, I don't know what a good example would be, just because the only thing I really know it for is YouTube. But like, even just with gaming, I guess. Like, when I was younger, there was a time period for like a year where I hardly ever played video games. And like, it's not like I was experiencing anything new in, not wanting to play video games from time to time. But a large part of what did it was when I had friends that wanted to play. In the past, I had always been like, even if I didn't want to play, I still would just go, all right, I'll play with you. But for some reason during that kind of stretch of time, I couldn't find the motivation to even play with my friends. And because of that, I lost a lot of my motivation to play in general, and ended up just kind of falling into something where I didn't really do anything during that time period. Which, in my opinion, doing gaming is much, much better than just scrolling TikTok or YouTube or stuff like that. I think that's one thing that a lot of parents and even kids miss is, gaming isn't a super great, perfect hobby or anything, but it is significantly better than idly browsing. Like, by a pretty large margin. And I probably shouldn't be saying that as a YouTuber who, gets views in many cases from people that are just kind of idly browsing. But it's very true. If you're looking to be productive, the ideal method isn't to, in your free time, mindlessly browse. Because the thing about mindlessly browsing is, in my experience at least, doing that sort of thing makes it much, much more difficult to get up and do stuff afterwards. Like, if you take 5 minutes and sit down on your phone and play a game, then it's much easier, at least for me, to then after that get up and do whatever I was taking a break from, or to, start working on something productive. But if what I'm doing on my phone is scrolling through social media or something like that, I find it very difficult to then get up and continue working. Which is part of why, I've also deleted any social media I've had on my phone for years. Like, I only had a period of like maybe 6 months where I had anything like that installed, and I had Instagram installed, and only because my friends had really wanted me to be on Instagram, so it's kind of like, all right, whatever. And ultimately, afterwards, I ended up, not really in any way finding anything useful out of it. As, I didn't even really enjoy it. It was just kind of brain numbing. And I feel like that's the experience for a lot of social media. And in the case of YouTube, it's a little different. Like, well, one nice thing about YouTube that I find is I can watch videos while I do something else. Like, I can put a 20-minute gaming video on another monitor and do it while I'm working on something else. But that's not something that you can do with, scrolling through Instagram, or nowadays it's TikTok. And it's part of why I don't really like the short stuff. Because it, kind of encourages that same sort of mind-numbing scrolling behavior, I guess. And, I still post them because it works, and the algorithm's very geared towards them right now. I finally did it! That one. I'm gonna fall now, but I did it. Oh, there's another one. But yeah, the algorithm's very much so geared towards that sort of stuff right now, so I find that, if I want to see success on the platform, then, I'm gonna post what works. So even though it's not my favorite kind of content to be producing, or, even really seeing on the platform, it kind of makes sense for my channel position right now to post them. But like, just as a general kind of more philosophical rule, I don't like them. I guess is kind of what I was trying to say. But yeah, I don't know. And to some degree, like, for somebody that can scroll through something like social media and then still get up and find motivation right away afterwards, then yeah, I 100% think that you should, or not that you should, but that it's, there's no qualms pretty much anywhere scrolling through social media. But for somebody like me that very much so struggles to be productive after being on that sort of thing, which I'm pretty sure is the general populace. Like, I'm pretty sure there's studies and stuff that back that up. I'm not positive. But, for people like me in that sense, I think it makes much more sense to just delete the social media, get off of it, and, keep going with stuff that doesn't numb your brain. It's actually, it ties kind of back into what I was talking about with viewers from older Minecraft communities not liking the newer content as much. I think in large part that comes down to the fact that they're made much more to make everything very fast and very, like, in a way, mind-numbing. Which is another reason why I kind of like my unedited style of content, which I know it's not perfect. It does, in large part, come out of my laziness, but still. Like, being able to have the patience to sit through a longer video and stuff like that, I think is, in many ways, a virtue in and of itself. Well, patience is a virtue. Like, everybody's heard that said. And there's very good reason for that saying. It's because patience is important in many aspects of life. And, being able to even have the patience just to make it through a 4-minute segment of parkour where, you know, I might be talking about something interesting, but on the screen it's, you know, involves me failing and stuff like that. Being able to make it through that sort of stretch and not get bored over the stretch of it, I think is very... It's something that can very much so help to increase your patience and, you know, stuff like that. And obviously, I'm going to do everything in my power to convince people that they should watch more of my videos and for longer and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not exactly the most unbiased source when it comes to that, but yeah, like... And there's another reason why I think that Dream's Manhunt were so successful, even just from a how much people enjoyed them standpoint, not just a, you know, algorithm, how many people clicked on it standpoint, but like one of the reasons why people enjoyed it so much was, on one end, everything was moving pretty quickly and it was pretty entertaining all the way through, but at the same time, for the people that were not used to the quicker paced content, it still had long periods without a cut and, you know, wasn't overly fast. I just didn't jump again. So I think it gave a good mix where both older and newer viewers could very easily sit down and enjoy the entire thing. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, and you know, people change. People change like the no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Yeah, and like, you know, a lot of people that used to enjoy... Oh, I didn't even think about what that jump was. A lot of people that used to enjoy slower paced content will, you know, likely find themselves enjoying faster paced and vice versa and all that. And I think that in many cases, the type of entertainment that you enjoy does come back to affect you in other ways. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a study done showing that, you know, high school age kids that play video games tend to have a higher grades in school and stuff than kids that don't. And I have a feeling that has more to do with the type of entertainment that other kids enjoy instead negatively affecting them rather than video games positively affecting kids in any way. Hey guys, I'm gonna skip this level. I'm done with that. Oh, I'll figure out how to beat that one day. I mean, I made it to the last jump a couple times. I'm just, you know, not all that much of a hurry to continuously fail on that for any longer. But yeah. Oh, back to one sec. Where do you want me to go? There? Okay. Back to kind of what I was saying. Wait, what was I talking about? I got totally distracted. About attention spans and stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't think that... Yeah, I was talking about video games and effects on grades. I don't think that video games in any way positively affect someone's IQ or their abilities in school or anything like that. And they might. You know, there might be some way that stacking blocks on top of each other can help you in school. Maybe doing multiple levels of math for, you know, which items to trade and stuff like that can, you know, help. And I could see it from the standpoint of it would stimulate, like in video games, your brain's kind of stimulated to learn about the stuff in the video game and, you know, what the ideal path is and how to shoot properly and, you know, all that stuff. So like there is stuff to learn in video games, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's some correlation between that and, you know, kind of learning to learn sort of ordeal, which would help kids in school. But yeah, I find it much more likely that it has more to do with kids that play a lot of video games don't spend a lot of time on apps like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, which, you know, being on apps like that, at least I presume based off of my experiences, have very negative effects on, you know, your ability to concentrate and to have the motivation to do your work and stuff like that. Man, need to take this a bit slower. At least that's my opinion on it. There's a lot of stuff that wouldn't surprise me to learn about the correlations between this stuff and, you know, work, schoolwork, and also work in general. Like, that is one thing I have to keep in mind as well, is my audience in general is a bit on the older side compared to most Minecraft channels. And obviously, to some degree, you have to account for the fact that there's going to be plenty of mislabeled ages on this sort of stuff. But at the same time, you know, a lot of kids mislabel their age to, like, for example, 5 years older than them, you know, at 13 to look 18 and stuff like that. They're not super worried about looking 34. It's just like, make my age look just high enough to be able to do this, and then I'm done. So, like, obviously with all that, there's going to be some margin of error and stuff like that. But still, I presume that a majority of the ages are fairly accurate. Like, I remember when Among Us simply asked for people's ages. Like, so many people that were watching my content at the time were unable to chat anymore because they set their age to the proper number and it was below 13 or whatever. Because when I was streaming Among Us, I had much younger audiences. But yeah, so a lot of, especially younger people, still answer it very accurately. I think to a large degree, I have a bit of a like misinterpretation about how many people lie about stuff like that, because I was the sort of kid to just lie about my age whenever asked by any company. And frankly, whenever asked about any information by any company, my first impulse was to just put in the incorrect info. Which in large part just came down to not really trusting anything online, which is probably actually a really good instinct to have, especially when you're younger and it's harder to tell apart some of the fraudulent sites from actual sites. And even when you get older, it can be, you know, hard to tell sometimes, especially if you don't spend much time on the internet. But yeah, I think just in general, to a large part, not trusting sites like that led in large part to that sort of behavior, which makes me kind of assume that everybody else does. But I also guess that a lot of people over 13 on YouTube, for example, wouldn't have a lot of reason to lie about their age, because very few things get age restricted, and, you know, anything that's not age restricted you can get to as long as you're 13 plus or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, come on. I'm gonna give this another like 3 shots, and if I'm not seeing any success, I might just call this map quits. It's really fascinating to me. I kind of want to see how, like, go back and look at whatever MCC they use this one in and see how people did on the parkours. Because I'm guessing, based off of the skill level of some of the top YouTubers, I'm guessing that a lot of them didn't complete this. Because, like, there's kind of two types of popular Minecraft creators. There's the ones that got there based off of heavy skill, and the ones that got there based off of being more high energy and kind of likable. And as a result, there ends up typically being a pretty large skill gap between the two, where like when you compare guys like Technoblade and Dream to the lower skill level creators, there's typically a pretty large gap. So, I don't know. I'd presume based off of the difficulty of this, some people did not complete it. But I can't say I'm positive. And maybe that's just me projecting because I'm upset that I'm not able to complete it. Okay. Boom. Ah! The problem is, it's not a super, like, difficult jump to get once. Like, any of them. It's just a really difficult jump to get many times in a row. Because, you know, it's one of those types of jumps that I have probably about a 40% chance of failing it every time I attempt it. Maybe a bit higher. It's that sort of jump. So as a result, it makes it really difficult to do this many in a row. Come on. Ah. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to call this one quits. I'm going to at least come take a look at what's up top. It's just a throne. That's nice. 31 minutes, 25 seconds. I wish, game. But yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. I attempted the MCC map. I'll maybe have to give this a bit more of a legit try and try and actually get through it, maybe in a decent speed. Perhaps. I don't know if you guys are interested. Maybe not. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. God bless. Bye-bye.